Hey everybody, Aaron here from Comic Booked, and today we're going to unbox a beautiful box of set boosters from March of the Machine, the newest set for Magic the Gathering. This is the very cool extended art foil buy a box promo, Omnath, Locus of All, which we've seen before, although now he is very cool with being able to spend Phyrexian, life instead of black mana for the black. So if you're playing 4 color and you just need the extra 2 for black, you can play him. So he's a 4/4. If you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. Pretty cool. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library. If you may reveal it, that card, if it has 3 or more colored mana symbols in its mana cost. If you do, add 3 mana in any combination of its colors and put it in your hand. If you don't, reveal it, put it in your hand. Okay, so that's kind of cool. And then, yeah, he's a Phyrexian elemental now, so he's been corrupted by the Phyrexians. Very neat. All right, well, we're gonna open this box up and just see what we get. Um, we know set boosters. Obviously, they have some great stuff in them. I've opened quite a few of these. Not boxes yet. I haven't opened any boxes yet, but I have opened some boosters. Very cool artwork. And then on the other side, very cool. The pairs of heroes. So this set is all about the pairs of heroes getting together to fight back against the Phyrexians, and just to get the lore behind it, right? The box here. We'll take a look at the box. It says, "Every world, every hero, one last stand. The Phyrexian invasion of the multiverse has begun. In a desperate battle, a bid for survival, heroes everywhere must unite against the apocalyptic threat. Call upon legendary team-ups, wage fierce battles that transform when won, and assemble different, gosh, world-spanning frame treatments. Will you take up the fight against the March of the Machine Legion? Sorry, against the Machine Legion. Will you? Will you take up the fight?" All right, cool stuff. So we will keep the box here handy. Oh, real cool. Really quick before I get into this, I just wanted to show you this. This is pretty neat. So I don't know. I'm always interested in error cards and error stuff, and things that are unusual in relation to Magic. So I got 2 Ikoria collector boosters, and if you look at that Ikoria collector booster very closely, you can see that the packaging is transparent, and you can see the card or the token. It's like a 1/1 token there, and you can see through to see the card in the back. It's got a 1 colorless and 1 red casting cost. So I got 2 of these Ikoria collector boosters that are transparent packaging. It's very cool, and I've seen them sell in other places for like $60 a piece. So I picked up a couple. I didn't pay $60. I picked up 2 for quite a bit less than that. But I thought, hey, you never know. People interested in that stuff, something cool to have. So just let me know in the comments if you've seen any of that kind of thing. I am interested in knowing what other people have seen. So, all right, we'll count our boosters real quick. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like we're looking at 30 boosters again. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'll put the fox over out of the way here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so 30 boosters. Let's get them, get cracking. All right. See what we find here within the bowels of the machine. The art cards are cool. Put the art cards over here to the side. Oh, flipping stuff already. My goodness. Hey, a retro. Oh, that's a list card. Phyrexian Furnace. 1 colorless. Tap to remove the bottom card of target player's graveyard from the game, and then spend 1 and sacrifice Phyrexian Furnace. Remove target card in any graveyard from the game and draw a card. That's interesting. So that's a list card. We'll put that up there. Meeting of the Minds, or Meeting of Minds. So not the minds, just some minds. Whatever minds happen to be laying around, I guess. 3 and a blue, Convoke. So if you don't remember Convoke, as we get back into some of these old mechanics, with Convoke, your creatures can help cast this spell. Each creature you tap while casting the spell pays for 1 colorless or 1 mana of that creature's color. So if it's a multicolored card, you can use whatever color you want. And you get to draw 2 cards. So 2 cards for 4 mana is not good, but 2 cards for free, if you happen to have 4 creatures laying around, is awesome. All right, we'll put our foils over here. Glissa, Herald of Predation. 3, a black and a green. 3/5 at the beginning of combat on your turn. Choose one. Incubate twice. Incubate is a new mechanic in this set. Incubate allows you to create an incubator token, and then you add however many +1/+1 counters for however much you're incubating. So in this case, incubate 2, you create a token, and I'm sure we'll see the tokens here in a minute. And then you put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and it has the ability spend 2 mana, 2 of any color, transform this artifact. It transforms into a 0/0 Phyrexian artifact creature. So it has the counters on it, then you can attack with it. Nice thing is you can play it, then you can transform it the next turn, and it'll have haste, or not have haste, but it'll not be summoned, summon sickness. So you can attack with it right away. And you can block. You can pop them. Hey, if you want to protect your creatures and your opponent's got a bunch of sacrifice stuff going on, um, then you don't have to sacrifice your tokens, and you can flip them when you need them. It's pretty cool. You can transform all incubator tokens you control, or Phyrexians you control gain first strike and death touch until end of turn. So she's pretty nice. She's a Phyrexian zombie elf. Very cool. Nice rare. Here's one of the heroes. Quende, Pride of Femereth. 3 and a white for a 2/2 with double strike. Creatures you control with first strike have double strike. Nice. It's a nice showcase card. There's going to be so many special cards. We're just going to put all the showcasey type cards in one stack unless they're rares, and we'll keep them separate. Another rare. This is one of the commander rares. Teferi's Talent. 3 and 2 blue. Enchant Planeswalker. Enchanted Planeswalker has remove 12 loyalty counters. You get an emblem with you may activate loyalty ability of planeswalkers you control on any player's turn anytime you could cast an instant. Whenever you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on enchanted planeswalker. Very nice. So it basically gives them Teferi's ability from his Teferi blah 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 blah. I don't remember. From Brothers War. The Brothers War Teferi, I think it was. All right, new card alerts. New card type alert. How long has it been since we've had a new card type? Like for frickin' ever. So in this case, Invasion of Asgol is a battle, a new type. Um, Battles, it's interesting because they remind me of the plane chase cards, although these are actually permanents in play that you can attack. So they are 1 black, and this one, in this case, 1 black and 1 red to cast it. When you cast it, it goes on your opponent's side of the board. Then your opponent can defend this battle, and you can attack it directly with your creatures or target it with spells. Um, it has 4 health counters on it, so it's just like a planeswalker in that way. It gets 4 health counters. Any damage, if you ping it for 1, it goes down to 3. You ping it for 4, it's dead. And when it's defeated, you exile it and then cast it transformed. But when you play it, you also get this ability. When Invasion of Asgol enters the battlefield, target player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker and loses 1 life. Nice, right? Then you destroy it, exile it, bring it back into play as Ashen Reaper. And you get any ETB effects, anything like that your other creature, permanents would give you. It's a 2/1 with Menace. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on Ashen Reaper if a permanent was put into a graveyard from the battlefield this turn. The battles are pretty cool. Captive Weird, 1 blue, 1/3, Defender, 3 and a red or 2 life. Transform Captive Weird, activate only as a sorcery. And then the weirdness happens, and you get Completed Conjurer, 3/3. When this creature transforms into Completed Conjurer, exile the top card of your library. Till the end of your next turn, you might play that card. Pretty cool. So these are the transform cards. They're very neat. We'll just keep our uncommons over here. Phyrexian Gargantua, 4 and 2 black. That's 6 casting cost 4/4, but when it enters the battlefield, you draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. So you can't beat that. Listening Deluge, as the oil comes pouring in. 1 and 2 black. All creatures get -1/-1 at the end of turn. Creatures that are green and or white get an additional -2/-2. That's a way to wipe the board, right? Omen Hawker. Someone's selling a bunch of omens. 1 blue, 1/1. Tap to add a colorless and a blue. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. Still not bad. And then our commons. Failed Conversion, 4 and a black. Enchant creature gets -4/-4. When it dies, you surveil 2. And exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards for 1 in the red. And the new, upside down because I messed it up. Basic land island. Very islandy, right? Pretty cool. Okay, so let's put our lands off to the side. Commons, uncommons, our foils up here. I know these take a little longer because this is the first time opening these packs. I do like to go through the cards with you, um, whether you like it or not. Cool art card. The Antiquities War. 3, and this is a card from the list again. 3 and a blue, and it's a saga. When it comes to play, you get 1 counter, and then every turn you add a counter. And once you get to 3, sacrifice it. So for the first 2, you look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. And at the end, artifacts you control become artifact creatures with base power and toughness 5/5 until the end of turn. Nice. All right, so that's 2 list cards in 2 packs. I don't think there's a list card in every pack, but there might be. Seed of Hope, 1 green. Mill 2 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the milled cards into your hand. You gain 2 life. Oh, hey, a rare Invasion of Ikoria. X and 2 green. So when you pay X and 2 green, then when Invasion of Ikoria enters the battlefield, search your library and or graveyard for a non-human creature card with mana value X or less and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle. It has 6 life. When it dies, you exile it, and then you cast it as Zilortha, Apex of Ikoria. And it's an 8/8 with reach. For each non-human creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Very, very cool. All right, so that's a neat rare. Inga Rune Eyes. This is one of the showcase cards from Kaldheim. 3 and a blue. 3/3. When Inga Rune Eyes enters a battlefield, scry 3. When she dies, draw 3 cards if 3 or more creatures died this turn. Another battle, Invasion of Zendikar. 3 and a green. When Invasion of Zendikar enters a battlefield, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. And 3 points of damage later, Awakened Skyclave, 4/4 Vigilance and Haste. As long as Awakened Skyclave is on the battlefield, it's a land in addition to its other types, and you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Very nice. So we'll put our rares here with our battles here so we don't get those mixed up. Pyretic Prankster, 1 and a red for a 2/1. You can transform it as a sorcery. Becomes Glistening Goremonger. When it dies, each opponent sacrifices an artifact or creature, and it's a 3/2. That's a common. Phyrexian Censor, 2 and a white for a 3/3. Each player can't cast more than 1 non-Phyrexian spell each turn, and non-Phyrexian creatures enter the battlefield tapped. Pretty cool. Copper Host Crusher, 6 and 2 green for an 8/8 trampler with hexproof. All right, why not? Atraxa's Fall, 1 and a green. Destroy target artifact, battle, enchantment, or creature with flying. Unseal the Necropolis, 2 and a black. Each player mills 3 cards, then you return up to 2 cards, 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Cosmic Hunger, 1 and a green. Target creature you control deals damage to its power. You control deals damage equal to its power to another target creature, planeswalker, or battle. Corrupted Conviction, 1 black. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sack a creature and draw 2 cards. And a classically bordered forest. As we get through these, you know the drill. Packs will move through packs a little faster as we start to see some duplicates. That looks like the art for Loris. Very cool. And a token. There's an elemental token. Pretty stuff. We'll put that over here in our land stack. Foil Omenhawker. We've seen that already. Kugla and Yadaro. So the turtle and the gorilla mixed together here, teamed up. Two green, two red. 7/7. When Kugla and Yadaro enter the battlefield, choose one. It gains trample and haste until end of turn. It fights a target creature you don't control, and then also you have this option of spending two, a red and a black and a red and a green. Discard Kugla and Yadaro, destroy up to one target artifact or enchantment, shuffle Kugla and Yadaro into your library from your graveyard, then draw a card. That is cool. That is Kugla. Wrath, Weatherlight Stalwart. We just saw this card in the last set, so it's coming back again. I think it was the last set. One blue, one white, 1/3. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap two untapped creatures you control. If you do, draw a card. I think it was Brothers War. 3 and 2 white, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. Hey, there's an Atraxa. That's very attractive. Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. 1 green, 1 white, 1 blue, and 1 black. 4/4 flying, vigilance, death touch, lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, proliferate. That's our first mythic from the box. Very, very pretty. Our battle is Invasion of Olgrotha. Invasion of Olgrotten. 4 and a black for 5 health on the battle. When Invasion of Olgrotha enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to any target and you gain 3 life. And it comes back in as Grandmother Ravi Singir, the vampire. Oh, she's not a vampire. She's a human wizard. 3/3, flying. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Grandmother Ravi Singir, and you gain 1 life. Huh, she must be the grandmother of the Singir vampires. But she's not a vampire. That's interesting. All right. Order of the Mirror is a common 2/1 with transform, and it comes back as Order of the Alabaster Host. When it becomes blocked by a creature, that creature gets -1/-1 till the end of turn. It's pretty cool. Furnace Reigns, 2 and a red. You gain control of a creature, untap it, gains haste, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, create a treasure token. Furnace Gremlin is 1 and a red. 1 and a red, you can pump it up, +1/+0 till the end of turn. When it dies, incubate X, where X is its power. Mirrodin Avenged, 1 black. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn and draw a card. Inspired Charge, 2 and 2 white. Creatures you control get +2/+1 till end of turn. It's a nice pump spell. Moment of Truth, 1 and a blue. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of those cards in your hand, 1 on the graveyard, and 1 on the bottom of your library. And there's one of the dual lands from this set, Rugged Highlands, as a common. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you gain a life, and then you can tap it for red or green. It's I don't know why. It's like only the top. You can't pull them from the bottom. You can only pull them from the top. That's pretty cool. There's our incubator token. So when it says incubate, throw down one of these bad boys, put some +1/+1 counters on it, and then spend 2 to transform it into a Phyrexian 0/0 with those counters on them. Okay? That in the lands as well. Crag Smasher Yeti, 4 and 2 red. Nice foil here. 4/2, Mountain Cycling, 2, and backup 2. So when it comes into play, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. If that's another creature, it gains the following ability until end of turn, so it would get trample. So get +2/+2, or 2 +1/+1 counters and trample if you put it on another creature. All right, Boonbringer Valkyrie, 3 and 2 white for a 4/4 with backup 1. Again, +1/+1 counter on something. And we give it flying, first strike, and lifelink till the end of turn. Timuret, chosen from death. 2 black, 2x, or 2 star. Its toughness is equal to your devotion to black, and then you can spend 1 on a black, exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards. You gain 1 life for each creature a card exiled this way. Invasion of Eldraine is our battle this pack. 3 and a black for 4. When Invasion of Eldraine enters the battlefield, target opponent discards 2 cards and exile and recast it as Prickle Fairies, not Pickle Fairies. 2/2 flyer. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 2 or fewer cards in hand, Prickle Fairies deals 2 prickle damage to them. Prickly. Hey, another battle. Invasion of Regatha. 2 and a red for 5 health. When Invasion of Regatha enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to another target battle or opponent, and it deals 1 damage to up to 1 target creature. And it comes back as Disciples of the Inferno. Creature, human monk, 4/4 with prowess. And prowess, every time you cast a non-creature spell, it gains +1/+1 till the end of turn. If a non-creature source you control would deal damage to a creature, battle, or opponent, it deals that much damage +2 instead. That's fancy. Kenra Spell Spear, back from the Amonkhet block. 1 and a red for a 2/2 with trample, prowess, and then you can transform it into a corrupted version of itself. Gitaxian Spellstalker, 3/3, trample, ward 2, prowess, and prowess again. So it has 2 prowess triggers that would activate separately. Pretty cool. Not often you see creatures with double printed on the card. 4 and a red for Fearless Scald, 3/2 with backup and double strike. Mirror Shield Hoplite. This is familiar. I think this was in Theros. 1 red, 1 white for a 2/2 vigilance. Whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a backup ability. Oh no, this is new. Copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. Oracle of Tragedy, 1 and a blue for a 1/3. When it enters a battlefield or dies, choose 1, draw a card, then discard, or shuffle up to 4 target cards with mana value 3 or greater from your graveyard to your library. Furnace Host Charger is 5/5 with haste and mountain cycling 2. Etched Host Doombringer is a 5 casting cost 3/5. When it enters a battlefield, you can either have target opponent lose 2 life and you gain 2 life, or choose target battle. If an opponent protects it, remove 3 defense counters from it. Otherwise, put 3 defense counters on it. And a beautiful forest. Okay, we're about halfway down through our first stack here. It's a pretty art card. Thopter Foundry, 1 white or black and a blue. Spend 1, sacrifice a non-token artifact, put a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature token with flying into play, and you gain 1 life. That's pretty cool. And that's a list card. Sigiled Sentinel, 2 and a white for a common foil, 2/2, backup 1 and vigilance. Voldaren Thrillseeker, 2 and a red, 1/1 with backup 2. You spend it, sacrifices creature, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Rona, Shouldered's Faithful, 1 and a blue and 2 black. 3/4, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses a life. You may cast Rona, Shouldered's Faithful from your graveyard by discarding 2 cards in addition to paying its other cost. Hey, a mythic commander card. This is Kasla, the Broken Halo. 3, a blue, a red, and a white for a 5/4 with Convoke. Flying, Vigilance, and Haste, and whenever you cast another spell that has Convoke, scry 2, then draw a card. That's nice. Mythic Commander. Mythic Commander card. Invasion of Moag for 2, a green and a white, 5 health counters on it, or defense counters, I guess they're called. Sorry. When Invasion of Moag enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Not bad for 4 mana. And when it is defeated, it casts it as creature. Bloom Wielder Dryads are 3/3s with Ward 2. Beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Very nice. That's a foil land. Wow, foily. Skyclave Aerialist, 1 and a blue for a 2/1 with flying. and then transform it for 4 and a blue or 2 life. It becomes Skyclave Invader. 2/4 flyer. When this creature transforms into Skyclave Invader, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it on the battlefield. If you don't put the card on the battlefield, put it in your hand. All right. Did we not get a? I guess we didn't get a showcase card this time, huh? That's cool. Streetwise Negotiator. Yeah, weird. Did I just put it in the wrong place? I did. Sorry. I'm not paying attention. Or I am paying attention. Maybe I'm paying too much attention. They can't afford it. 1 and a green for Streetwise Negotiator. 0/2 with backup 1. This creature assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Interesting. Scorn Blade Berserker. 1 black, 0/1, backup 1, and then spend 1 sack a creature. Sack this creature, draw a card. Thunderhead Squadron. 5 and a blue for a 3/4 with Convoke and Flying. Meeting of the Minds again. Shatter the Source. 5 colorless and a red. Convoke and then choose 1. Shatter the Source deals 6 damage to target creature, planeswalker, or battle, or destroy target artifact. All right. Next pack. Yeah, I'm in the middle of moving, so it's going to be like a month-long process, but still, it's fun stuff. Order the Mirror foil. Looks like different artwork. Is it? Just cooler looking that way? No, cooler looking as a foil for sure. Saw one of my cats there. Nice. Oh, we got Invasion of Theros for a rare battle. 2 and a white for 4 defense counters. When Invasion of Theros enters a battlefield, search your library for an aura, god, or demigod card. Reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle. And we got Afera, Ever Sheltering. So you defeat the battle, it comes back, and you cast it as this. 4/4. If Farah, Ever Sheltering, has lifelink and indestructible, as long as you control at least 3 other enchantments. Whenever another enchantment enters a battlefield under your control, draw a card. Very nice. All right. That is a cool, rare battle. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. This is a nice card, and this was from, I believe, this was in Brothers War. 2/1 for 1 of the white, first strike, non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. So yeah, she was pretty good, and a nice showcase card. But because it's a showcase rare, we're putting it in the rare stack. Invasion of Dominaria. Enters a battlefield, you gain 4 life and draw a card. I don't think we've had that one yet. Tarkir Dune Shaper, another one, 1/2 for 1, and transform it for 4 and a green or 4 and 2 life. It becomes a 4/3 trampler. Nice. That's common. Tiller of Flesh, tilling up some flesh. 3 and a white for a 2/4. Whenever you cast a spell that targets 1 or more permanents, you get to incubate 2. Incubate 2. Mutagen Connoisseur, 1 colorless, 1 green, 1 white for a 0/5 flying and vigilance. It gets +1/+0 for each transformed permanent you control. Very nice. Alabaster Host Intercessor, 5 and a white for a 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls until Alabaster Host Intercessor leaves the battlefield, or you can plane cycle it for 2. And plane cycling, mountain cycling, I didn't cover that before, but land cycle, basically spend 2 mana, discard the card, and then search your library for a card of the land type to find there. So planes in this case, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. It's a nice way for mana fixing if you need to. Temporal Cleansing, 3 and a blue and Convoke. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it into their library second from the top or on the bottom. Cut Short, we've seen that artwork already. This is a reprint as well. 2 and a white, Convoke. Well, no, it's not a reprint, is it? It looks familiar, but anyway. 2 and a white, Convoke, destroy target planeswalker that was activated this turn or tapped creature. I think it looks familiar because I played it a couple times in a pre-release. Burning Sun's Fury, 1 and a red. Convoke. Up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+0 and gain haste until the end of turn. And Thornwood Falls, the blue and green tap lifeland thing. I think those are called. I don't know. You get the pain lands. Are these the life lands? Are they the tap lands? I don't know what they're called. They're lands. I know that. Do do do. Beautiful art. A counter, another elemental. That's 2 elementals so far. Archpriest of Shadows, 3 and 2 black for a 4/4 with backup 1 and death touch. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Very, very nice. And a beautiful foil rare as well. Realm Breaker, the Invasion Tree, 3 colorless. For a legendary artifact, spend 2 and tap it. Target opponent mills 3 cards. Put a land card from their graveyard onto the battlefield tapped under your control. It gains if this land would leave the battlefield. Exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. And then you can spend 10 mana, tap it, and sacrifice Realm Breaker, the Invasion Tree. Search your library for any number of Praetor cards, put them on the battlefield, and then shuffle. That is pretty nifty. Shauna, Sisei's Legacy. She is 1 green, 1 white for a 0/0. She can't be the target of abilities your opponents control, and Shauna gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. Hey, there's the extended art Luris of the Dream Den. 1 and 2 white or 2 black or combination of anything. A 3/2 companion. Remember her for Ikoria. Each permanent card in your starting deck has mana value 2 or less. That's the requirement in order to play her as a companion. Then you have to spend 3 mana to bring her into your hand, played only as a sorcery, and then you can cast her. She's a 3/2 with lifelink, and once during each of your turns, you may cast a permanent spell with mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. So, pretty nifty. That's our first full art, or extended art. So we'll put that one up here. All right. Invasion of Lorwyn. 4, a black and a green. I'm sorry, it's really out of focus. 5 defense counters. When Invasion of Lorwyn enters the battlefield, destroy target non-elf creature an opponent controls with power X or less, where X is the number of lands you control. Wow. And then bring it back in as Winnowing Forces. Asterisk, asterisk. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. Cool. Nozumi Freewheeler from Kamigawa, right? 3 and a black, 3/3 with Menace. Enters a battlefield, each player mills 3 cards, and then you can transform it for 5 and a white or 5 and 2 life. Becomes Hideous Flush Wheeler. So hideous, although it is really cool looking. But anyway, 4/5 with Menace. When this creature transforms into Hideous Flesh Wheeler, put target permanent card with mana value 2 or less from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Nice. That is a cool uncommon. A little expensive, but still fun. 1 and a white for Norn's Inquisitor. 1/1. When it enters a battlefield, incubate 2. Whenever a permanent you control transforms into a Phyrexian, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Sculpted Perfection. 2, a white and a black. When Sculpted Perfection enters a battlefield, incubate 2, so it's an enchantment. And then Phyrexians you control get +1/+1. Lots of uncommons in these packs. It's interesting. I think you seem to get a lot more uncommons than commons sometimes. Negate, 1 and a blue, a pretty standard staple counter target non-creature spell. Stasis Field, again, another staple. 1 and a blue makes an enchanted creature base power and toughness 0/2, defender, and loses all other abilities. And Epheres Dispersal, 2 and a blue. Spell costs 2 less to cast. If it targets an attacking creature, return target creature to its owner's hand and surveil 2. And a swamp. All right, guys. Sorry, we're half an hour into this and already only through the first stack of cards. But there are cool cards in this set. Very neat stuff. Um, treasure. Pretty cool treasure token. Consuming Aetherborn. And this is 3 and a black. I love the border and the foil on the black cards. It's very cool. 2/2, backup 1, and lifelink. Transcendent Message. X and 4 blue. When convoke, and you can draw X cards. And you can convoke to your heart's content. You can tap 4 blue creatures and 15 other creatures and draw 15 cards. It's pretty cool. Hey, there's Dina, Soul Keeper. Soul Steeper, sorry. Steeper like steeping her in steeping them in her tea. 1 black and 1 green, 1/3. Whenever you gain a life, each opponent loses a life. You can spend 1 and sack another creature. Dina Soul Steeper gets +X+0 till end of turn, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. Invasion of Urgamon. Did we have this one already? I feel like we did. Maybe I've just seen it before. 1 green, 1 red for a 5 defense counter. Battle. When Invasion of Urgamon enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Then you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. And it comes back as Truga, Cliff Charger. 3/4, Rhino, Trample, enters the battlefield, discard a card. If you do, search your library for a land or battle card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Aetherblade Agent, here's a common 1/1. Death Touch and Transform. Gitaxian Mindstinger, 3/3, Death Touch, and when it deals combat damage to a player or battle, draw a card. Corruption of Tawashi, 4 and a blue. When Corruption of Tawashi enters the battlefield, incubate 4. Whenever a permanent you control transforms or a permanent enters the battlefield under your control transformed, you may draw a card. Do this only once each turn. I just messed up my stacks. I do that way too often. Tangled Skyline, 4 and a green. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life and incubate 5. Phyrexians you control have reach. An Elvish Vat Keeper, 1 a black and a green. 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, incubate 2. Spend 5 and transform target incubator token you control and double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. Nice. Gloomfang Mauler is a 7 casting cost 5/5 with Swamp Cycling 2, Backup 2, and Menace. Tidal Terror, 4 and 2 blue for a 5/6. When it attacks, you may tap 2 other untapped creatures you control. If you do, Tidal Terror can't be blocked, and it has Island Cycling for 2. Zalfren's Shapecraft, 1 and a blue. This is a fun card. Target creature has base power and toughness 4/3 until end of turn, and you get to draw a card. And there's a full art foily island. We're almost there to the end of the first stack. Oh, our first foil signed. Very nice. Incubator. Cami of Whispered Hopes. Whisper the hopes of good cards for the rest of the packs. 2 and a green for a 1/1. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a permanent you control, that many +1/+1/+1 counters are put on that permanent instead. Tap and add X mana of any one color where X is Cami of Whispered Hope's power. Nice. Atali, Primal Conqueror. I have like 3 of this thing now. Atali's awesome though. 5 and 2 red for a 7/7 with Trample. When it enters the battlefield, each player exiles cards from the top of their library till they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among the non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. Then you can spend 9 and a green, or 9 and a blue, I think. Yeah, 9 and a blue. Let's see, is it blue? Is it blue? Can we focus on it? Come on, stupid. It's hard to tell. I think it's blue. 9 and a blue, or 9 and 2 life. Transform it. Activate only as a sorcery. And Atali Primal Conqueror becomes Atali Primal Sickness. An 11/11 trample with Indestructible. When Atali Primal Sickness deals combat damage to a player, they get that many poison counters. That is pretty cool. And we've got Rayav, Mastersmith, 1 white, 1 blue, or 1 white, 1 red for a 2/2. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, that creature gains double strike until the end of turn. Ruins Recluse, 1 and a green for a 1/1 with reach and death touch, and you can pump it up with counters for 3 and a black. Invasion of Kylem, we don't have that yet. 2, a red, and a white for 5. When Invasion of Kylem enters the battlefield, up to 2 target creatures you control get, or 2 target creatures each get +2/+0 and gain vigilance and haste until end of turn. Dune Shaper, we've seen Seraph of New Capenna, one of the New Capenna angels, 2 and a white for 2/2, a flyer, transform for 4 and a black or 4 and 2 life. 3/3 flyer, Seraph of New Phyrexia, flying. When Seraph of New Phyrexia attacks, you may sacrifice another creature or artifact. If you do, you pump it up +2/+1 until the end of turn. Gift of Completion. Here's some oil. An oil change. We should call this card oil change. 1 and a black. When Gift of Completion enters a battlefield, incubate 3. Whenever a Phyrexian you control dies, surveil 1. Nice. Phyrexian Awakening. This is Phyrexian Alarm Clock. 2 and a white. When Phyrexian Awakening enters a battlefield, incubate 4. Phyrexians you control have vigilance. It's cool how all of these enchantments turn your Phyrexian creatures into, I don't know, slivers a little bit, right? Pretty cool. Crystal Carapace, 3 and a green. Enchant creature gets +3/+3 and ward 2, and it has cycling 2 if you don't need to use it. War Train Slasher, there's a beautiful plains. War Train Slasher is a 4/3 with menace for 4. When War Train Slasher attacks a battle, double its power until the end of turn. Last pack. Last pack from the first stack. Okay, cool. Strictly Better. Here's a game if you guys want to copy the game, see how it plays. It's kind of fun, right? Sure. Swordsworn Cavalier, 1 and a white for a 1/1. This is our foil from the pack. Swordsworn Cavalier has first strike as long as another knight entered the battlefield under your control this turn. Hey, there's our rare Errant and Giada showcase card. 1 white blue, 2/3 flyer with flash. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast spells with flash or flying from the top of your library. And there's Squee the Immortal. That's a cool showcase card. Stained glass. 2/1. You may cast Squee from graveyard or from exile. Nice. And a rare commander card, Elspeth's Talent, 2 and 2 white. So this is like, Teferi's Talent. This is Elspeth's Talent. Enchant Planeswalker. Enchanted Planeswalker has add a counter, create 3/1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Whenever you activate a loyalty ability of Enchanted Planeswalker, creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance till the end of turn. That's nice. Invasion of Kamigawa, which we don't have yet. We've got like all of the different invasions. We haven't duplicated one yet. 3 and a blue for 4. When Invasion of Kamigawa enters a battlefield, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. And it comes back in as Rooftop Saboteurs, 2/3 flying. Whenever Rooftop Saboteurs deals combat damage to a player or battle, draw a card. Nice thing about this, if you think about this with all the Kamigawa stuff, if you played this, so you get the tap and the stun on the one side, and then when it's destroyed, you flip it, right? Then you attack your opponent, then you ninjutsu it out, and play it again as a battle. So you can recycle that battle multiple times, tap and stun, tap and stun. It's pretty cool. But when Rooftop Saboteur deals combat damage to a player or battle, draw a card. Very nice. So that's our battle. Harried Artisan, 2 and a red for 2/3 with haste, and you could transform for 3 and a white or 3 and 2 life to Phyrexian Skyflayer, 3/4 flying and haste. Stormclaw Rager, 2/2, 1 black and a red. Spend 1, sack another creature or artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and draw a card. Activate only as a sorcery. Completed Huntmaster, 2 and a black, 2/3. Spend 1, tap, sack another creature or artifact, incubate 3. Angelic Intervention, 1 and a white for an instant. Target creature or planeswalker you control gains protection from colorless or from the color of your choice until end of turn. If it's a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Placid Rottentail, it's a little corrupted rabbit. 1 white, or 1 green, sorry, for a 1/1 with vigilance. And then spend 2 and a green, exile Placid Rottentail from the graveyard, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. Enduring Bond Warden, 1 white, 0/1, backup 1. When this creature dies, put its counters on target creature you control. And there is our green and white Blossoming Sands. Okay. All right, that was the first stack. Now we can move a little faster, right, folks? Pretty. It's probably upside down, but I don't care. Knight token. Traumatic Revelation. 1 and a black. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a creature or battle from card from it. If you do, that player discards that card. If you don't, incubate 3. A Tribute to the World Tree. 3 green for an enchantment. Whenever a creature enters a battlefield you control, under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. Otherwise, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. Niv Mizzet Reborn Showcase card. 1 of each color. 6/6 flyer. When it enters a battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library for each color pair. Choose a card that exactly these colors from among them. Put the chosen cards in your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That is a cool card. Invasion of Volgrotha. We've got that already. Got that already. Seen that already. That. Are those both uncommons? Yes. Sigiled Sentinel, 2/2, backup 1, and Vigilance. Urn of Godfire. This is a 1 casting cost artifact. Spend 2, add 1 mana of any color, so it's a nice filter. Well, a nice filter, but it's a filter. And then 6 and tap, sack it to destroy target creature or enchantment. Portent Tracker, 1 and a green for a 1/1. Tap him to untap target land, or tap him to choose target battle. If an opponent protects it, remove a defense counter from it. Otherwise, put a defense counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. Chomping Kavu, chomp chomp. 3 colorless and a green, 3/3 backup 1. This creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. And a mountain. That went a little faster, right? Oh, another foil signed. Very nice. We got a list card, Hope of Girapur, 1 colorless, flying 1/1, Thopter, legendary artifact creature. This is from Aether Revolt, right? That series, or that block. I don't remember. Kaladesh, right? Sacrifice Hope of Galapur until your next turn. Target player who has dealt combat damage by Hope of Galapur this turn can't cast non-creature spells. Cool. Okay. Alabaster Host Intercessor foil. Sword of Once and Future. Very nice. Mythic. 3 colorless. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from blue and from black. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, surveil 2. Then you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard without paying its casting cost. If that spell would be put into the graveyard, exile it instead and equip it for 2. That is a cool mythic. Very nice card. There is our showcase card. 3 and a blue for a 3/3. We've seen that one already. Injector Crocodile, 4 and 2 black for a 5/5. Incubate 3 when it dies, and has Swamp Cycling for 2. Firemane Commando is a commander rare. 3 and a white for 4/3. Flyer, whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, draw a card. Whenever another player attacks with 2 or more creatures, they draw a card if none of those creatures attacked you. Interesting incentive in Commander. You want to draw a card? We've got Invasion of Dominaria already. We're going to stack these up here. Pyretic Prankster, Fearless Scald, 4 and a red, 3/2 with backup 1 and double strike. Mirror Shield Hoplite, Skittering Surveyor, 3 colorless, 1/2. When it enters a battlefield, search for a land, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. And Flywheel Racer, 3/2 with Vigilance for 2. It's a vehicle. Tap to add 1 mana of any color. Activate only if Flywheel Racer is a creature, and then you can crew it for 1. And a foil mountain. Make sure we're putting the commons and the uncommons in the right stacks here. All right. I mean, really, so far, we've gotten quite a few quite a few rares. If you look at our stack over here, we've got three mythics so far. We've got a mythic commander. We have three rare commander cards, and then all of those rares plus all of those list cards and the one extended art Lurus, which is awesome. All right, so first off, we got vampire something. Judith. That's Judith. Judith the Scourge. Strictly Better, game card again. Referee Squad, 2 and a blue, foil, 2/2, with Convoke and Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Nice. There's Inga and Asika, the Chariot with the cats, right? 2, a blue, and a green for a 4/4. Creatures you control have Vigilance and tap. Add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. Whenever you cast a creature spell, if 3 or more mana from creatures was spent to cast it, draw a card. Nice. That's a cool rare. Although with the Chariot, it should be something where, when you, we've seen Dina already. Another showcase rare, Eric's Methus, I'm sorry, with Asika, with the Chariot, there should be that duplicate the tokens thing. But yeah, anyway, that's still pretty cool. You get to draw cards, I guess. 2, a blue, and a green for a 12/12 land, at least for a few turns. He's a Kraken, but when he enters the battlefield, tapped with 5 slumber counters on it, as long as Eric's Methus has a slumber counter on it, it's a land. Whenever you cast a spell, you may remove a slumber counter from Eric's Methus, and you can tap it to give you a blue and a green mana. All right. It's cool, but, Invasion of Moag, we have this one already. Harried Artisan we have, Mutagen Connoisseur, Streetwise Negotiator. Starting to get some duplicates here. Arachnoid Adaptation. Target creature gains +2/+2 and gains reach until end of turn. Untap it. Deadly Derision. 2 and 2 black. Destroy target creature or planeswalker and create a treasure token. And then there's our blue and black Dismal Backwater. Yeah, 4 uncommons and 2 commons in that pack. There's pretty cool. Karn ripping off Elish Norn's head. Night token. Pile on. This is a nice rare, and it's foily rare. 3 and a blue or 3 and a black. Convoke. Destroy target creature or planeswalker and surveil 2. That is a nice rare. A mythic Invasion of Innistrad. 2 and 2 black with flash and 5 defense. When Invasion of Innistrad enters a battlefield, target creature and opponent controls gets -13/-13 until the end of turn. And then when you destroy it, exile it, recast it as Deluge of the Dead. It's an enchantment. When Deluge of the Dead enters a battlefield, create 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Spend 2 and a black, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. That is pretty cool. Nice mythic. Rona, Herald of Invasion. This is a different one. So we had Rona, Shieldred's, whatever, Faithful. Now this is her rare, Herald of Invasion. 1 and a blue, 1/3. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, untap her. Tap to draw a card, then discard a card. 5 and a black or 5 and 2 life to transform her into dun da 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 Rona, Tolarian Obliterator. Oh, very interesting. 5/5 with trample. Whenever a source deals damage to Rona, Tolarian Obliterator, that source's controller exiles a card from their hand at random. If it's a land card, you may put it on the battlefield under your control. Otherwise, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. That is pretty fancy. That is a nice rare. Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths. 2, a blue and a black for a 3/2 with Menace. It enters the battlefield. Target opponent looks at the top 3 cards of your library and separates them into a face-down pile and a face-up pile. Put 1 pile in your hand and the other into your graveyard. There's Invasion of Zendikar we have already. Invasion of Muruganda. I don't think we have this one yet. When Invasion of Muruganda enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then that creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. And Primordial Plasm. 4/4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature gets +2/+2 and loses all abilities until end of turn. Nice. Skyclave Aerialist transforms into Skyclave Invader. We've seen that. Oh, we've seen that one. Sculpted Perfection, Tiller of Flesh, Vengeant Earth. 1 and a green. Target creature or land you control becomes a 4/4 elemental creature with haste in addition to its other types until end of turn. It must be blocked this turn if able. Seed of Hope we've seen, and a really beautiful swamp. It's like either one end or the other, but not both ends. Alyssa's Courier, 1 and 2 green for a 2/3 with Mountain Walk. Another list card. Failed Conversion, we've seen that. Pretty foil, though. Into the Fire, 2 and a red. Choose one. Into the Fire deals 2 damage to each creature, planeswalker in battle. Put in a number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, then draw that many cards +1. Cool. There is Firja, Judge of Valor. 2 of white and 2 black for a 2/4 flying with lifelink. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Invasion of Eldraine we've seen before. Seen it, seen it, seen it. Preening Champion, 2 and a blue, 2/2 flyer. When it enters a battlefield, create a 1/1 blue and red elemental creature token. Protocol Knight, 3 and a white, or 3 and a blue, for a 3/4. When it enters a battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls, put a stun counter on that creature if you control another knight. Swordsworn Cavalier we've seen. Fertilid's Favor, 3 and a green. Target player searches their library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffles. Put 2+1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature or artifact. Nice. Those are commons, uncommon, uncommon, common, 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 common. Wow, we got way more commons this time than we got uncommons. That is hard to believe. Let's see if we can get through the rest of these. Pretty. Okay. Invasion of Kaladesh. A blue and this is a 4 defense battle. When it comes battlefield, create a colorless Thopter artifact creature token. And then Aetherwing Golden Scale Flagship is what you play it. Has its asterisk 4. Flying, crew 1. It has power equal to the number of artifacts you control. Pretty neat. It's a nice foil, too. Ayara, Widow of the Realm. This is a nice one. 1 and 2 black for a 3/3. Tap her to sack another creature or artifact, and then she deals X damage to target opponent or battle, and you gain X life, where X is a sacrifice permanent's mana value. And 5 and a red to transform her, or 5 and 2 life to give you Ayara, Furnace Queen, 4/4. Phyrexian Elf Noble. At the beginning of combat on your turn, return up to 1 target artifact or creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile at the beginning of the next end step. Oh, I'm just throwing cards. And there is Emoti, a beautiful. I'm pretty sure that's foil, but that is a. Is that foil? No, I guess not. It's just a showcase card. One of the actually one of the masterpiece looking cards from the Almond block. Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty, 3, a green and a blue. Legendary creature. She's a 3/1. She has Cascade. So when you cast a spell, exile cards from the top of your library till you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put the exiled cards at the bottom of your library in a random order. Spells you cast with mana value 6 or greater have Cascade. That's pretty cool, actually. Invasion of Vryn. We don't have this. 3 and a blue for 4. When Invasion of Vryn enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, then discard a card, and then, when it's destroyed, you get Overloaded Mage Ring. Spend 1 and tap, sack it, copy target spell you control. Pretty cool. Bonded Herd Beast for 5. transforms into Plated Kiln Beast for 7/5 with Menace. That's heavy duty. Corrupted Tawashi we've seen. Tangled Skyline we've seen. Trailblazing Historian, 1 and a red, 1/3 with haste. Tap another target creature gains haste until end of turn. Coming in hot, 1 red. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike, and then you get to scry 1. Rouse Reinforcements, 1 and a red. Create 2 1/1 blue and red elemental creature tokens. And Overgrown Pest, 2 and a green. It's a 2/2. When it enters a battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a land or double-faced card from among them. Put that card into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And there is our black and white Scoured Barrens, and it's a foil. Okay. So we only have a couple packs left from this stack. Nice. Incubator. Bola Slinger, foil, 3 and a white. 2/2 with backup 1. Whenever this creature attacks, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls. Dusk Legion Duelist is a 1 and a white for a 2/2. Vigilance, whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Dusk Legion Duelist, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Shauna, Sasay's Legacy, we've seen. Yorian, Sky Nomad, 3 and 2 of either blue or white combination, 4/5. Companion, we know what that does. Flying. When it enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next step. That's pretty cool. So we got 2 of the companion cards so far. Liliana's Talent here for the commander stack. 2 black. Enchanted Planeswalker has -8 counters. Put all creature cards from your graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. Whenever a creature deals damage to Enchanted Planeswalker, destroy that creature. And there's Invasion of Asgol again. Herbology Instructor, 1 and a green for a 1/3. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life and then transform it into Malady Invoker. 3/3. When this creature transforms into Malady Invoker, target creature an opponent controls gets -0/-X until end of turn, where X is Malady Invoker's power. Gift of Completion, Phyrexian Awakening, Searing Barb, 2 and a red. It's funny, she doesn't look like a barb, really, but maybe Barbara. Searing Barb deals 2 damage to any target. If it's a creature, it can't block this turn, incubate 1. Final Flourish. Final Flourish. 1 and a black. Kicker. Sack an artifact or creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. If the spell was kicked, that creature gets -6/-6 till end of turn instead. And our white and red duel. Dragony stuff. Tokeny stuff. Final Flourish and a foil. Heliod, the Radiant Dawn, 2 and 2 blue for a 4/4. When Heliod, the Radiant Dawn, enters the battlefield, return target enchantment card that isn't a god from your graveyard to your hand. 3 and a maybe a blue. Yeah, 3 and a blue. Or 3 and 2 life to transform Heliod into Heliod, the Warped Eclipse. 4/6, you may cast spells as though they had flash, and spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. Pretty neat. Rayev, Master Smith. I think we've seen this already. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, it gets double strike. Invasion of Lorwyn we've seen. Blight Reaper Thalid, 1 and a black for a 2/2, and transform it into Blight Sower Thalid, 3/3. When this creature transforms into Blight Sower Thalid or dies, create a 1/1 green Phyrexian Sapling token. Stormclaw Rager we've seen. Completed Huntmaster. Aki's Scrap Jumper. 1 and a red. Tap, sack an artifact or land, draw a card. Nazumi Informant. This is a discard a card. 1/1. War Historian. 2 and a green for a 3/3 with reach. Has indestructible as long as it attacked in a battle this turn. And Scroll Shift. Exile up to 1 target artifact, creature, or enchantment you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control and draw a card. On to the last 2 packs of the second stack. There's an Omnath. Incubator. Ramosian Greatsword. 4 and a red. Convoke. Equipped creatures get +1/+3/+1 and has trample, and you can equip it for 2. That's cool. And that is just a foil uncommon. Sunfall. 3 and 2 white. Exile all creatures. Incubate X, where X is number of creatures exiled this way. It's pretty nifty. At least you get some benefit from destroying everything on the field. Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive, 1 and a blue, 1/3. Creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. That'd be a nice combo with the blue and white with all of the little mites from Brothers War or from Phyrexia. Invasion of Regatha, we saw that. There's the Artisan again. We saw him. We saw the Herd Beast. Rampaging Geoderm. 2, a red and a green for a 3/3, trample and haste. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gets +1/+1 to the end of turn. If it's attacking a battle, put a +1/+1 counter on it instead. Nice. Botanical Brawler. This is a fun uncommon. 1 green, 1 white for a 0/0 with trample. It comes into play with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on another permanent you control, if it's the first time that +1/+1 counters have been put on that permanent this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. That's pretty cool. Scrappy Bruiser. This is Rocket Raccoon. 3 and a red, 3/4. Whenever Scrappy Bruiser attacks, up to 1 target attacking creature gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the end of combat. Phyrexian Archivist, with 6 casting cost, 4/5, with my thumb over the words reach, tap 2 and tap it, put target card from the graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. It's a way to cycle some stuff back into play. It's kind of nice. Keep yourself from decking yourself out. Furtive Analyst, 2 and a blue for a 1/4 with vigilance, tap 2, tap, draw a card, and discard a card. And a forest. All right, last one from the second stack, and we have seen a couple mythics so far from the 2 stacks. We got the Atraxa within 2 packs, so that was good. That's a trash card. Knight of the New Coalition. 3 and a white for a 2/2 with vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 white and blue knight creature token. Bloated Processor, 2 and a black for a 3/2. Sacrifice another Phyrexian, put a +1/+1 counter on Bloated Processor. When Bloated Processor dies, incubate X, where X is its power. Nice. There's Agar, the Freezing Flame, 1 of blue and a red. He is a 3/3. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage, if a giant, wizard, or spell you control dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. Invasion of New Capenna. I think this is a new one. When Invasion of New Capenna enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice an artifact or creature. When you do, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls. And Holy Frazzle Cannon is an artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature, and each other creature you control that shares a creature type with it, and equip it for 1. That's pretty cool. Order of the Mirror, Kami, Storm the Seed. Oh, well, see, throwing stuff all over the place. Common, uncommon. Storm the Seed Core, 2 and 2 green. Sorcery, distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among up to 4 target creatures you control. Creatures you control gain vigilance and trample until the end of turn. It's too bad it's a sorcery, but still pretty cool. Bladed Battle Fan, 1 and a black. Flash, When Bladed Battle Fan enters a battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. That creature gains indestructible until the end of turn. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, and equip for 1. So a decent common equipment. Disturbing Conversion, 1 and a blue, flash, enchant creature. When it enters a battlefield, each player mills 2 cards. An enchanted creature gets -X/-0, where X is the number of cards in that controller's graveyard. Saiba Cryptomancer, 1 and a blue, 0/1 with flash and backup 1, and hexproof. And Tenured Oilcaster with the Swiftwater Cliffs. It's cool. 2/4 with Menace for 4. Tenured Oilcaster gets +3/+0 as long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. When Tenured Oilcaster attacks or blocks, each player mills a card. That's pretty decent. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go. Like the countdown begins. Nice artwork. Kaldra Complete, 7 casting cost. Legendary artifact equipment. This is a list card. Living weapon, indestructible. Equipped creature gets +5/+5 and has first strike, trample, indestructible, haste, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a creature, exile that creature. That is pretty decent and a nice mythic. Dusk Legion Duelist, a cool foil rare. Invasion of Fiora, 4 and 2 black. When Invasion of Fiora enters a battlefield, choose one or both. Destroy all legendary creatures, destroy all non-legendary creatures. So that's an instant board wipe for 5. That's nice. There's Daxos, Blessed by the Sun. This is a staple from Theros, 2 white for a 2 and a star. Daxos' toughness is equal to your devotion to white. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, you gain life. And there's Finn. Finn the Fangbearer is a hot commodity right now for sure. 1 and a green for a 1/3 with Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. So, talk about a way to accelerate the poison counters. Bright Palm Soul Awakener is our mythic for the commander stuff. 1, a red, a green, and a white. 4/3 with backup 1. Whenever this creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. That creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn. Invasion of Mercadia. 1 and a red. When Invasion of Mercadia enters a battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. And then Chiron Flamewright is our creature we would cast it into. 3/3, and for 2 and a red, tap, discard a card, create a 1/1 blue and red elemental creature token. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste. Nice. Pyretic Prankster. There's Change the Equation. This is 1 and a blue. Choose 1. Counter target spell with mana value 2 or less. Counter target red or green spell with mana value 6 or less. Render Inert, 2 and a black. Remove up to 5 counters from target permanent and draw a card. Nice. Infected Defector, 4 and a white for a 4/3. When it dies, incubate 3. Traumatic Revelation, and a pretty little island. All right, number 9. Captain Marvel. Vengeant Earth foil. There's Drana and Linvala. 1, 2 white, and a black for a 3/4 with flying and vigilance. Activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated. Drana and Lanvana has all activated abilities of all creatures your opponents control. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate those abilities. That is crazy. Here's Judith, the Scourge Diva, 1, a black, and a red for a 2/2. Other creatures you control get +1/+0, and whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Judith, the Scourge Diva, deals 1 damage to any target. She was a staple in the Rakdos Sacrifice deck. Very fun. Invasion of Xerax. When you play this, return a target creature to its owner's hand, and then you get Vertex Paladin, Angel Knight, flying, and its power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. We get a Notvold Hermit, which is a 4/4 with transform into Chrome Host Hulk. A 5/5 when it attacks up to 1 other target creature has base power Base, power, and toughness of 5/5 till end of turn. He is crazy. Wicked Slumber, 3 and a blue. Convoke, tap up to 2 target creatures, put a stun counter on each of them, then put a stun counter on either of them. Oh, no, put a stun counter on either of them, then put a stun counter. So you can either put 2 stun counters on one or 1 on each. I get it. Just trying to be confusing. Artistic Refusal, 4 and 2 blue. Convoke, choose one or both, counter target spell, or draw 2 cards and discard a card. It's nice that it has Convoke, because otherwise it's super expensive. Golden Scale Aeronaut, 4 and a white for a 2/3 with backup 1 and flying. Aerial Boost, 1 and a white with Convoke. Target creature gets +2/+2 and flying till the end of turn. Mirren Bane Splitter, 1 red. Flash, when Mirren Bane Splitter enters a battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and equip for 3. And finally, Marauding Dreadship, 2 and a red for a 4/1 vehicle with haste. When Marauding Dreadship enters a battlefield, incubate 2. And it cruise for 2. And a foily island. Yeah. Now this one's not opening from either end. Let's try the other trick. There's the Mizumi Rat Discarder. Phyrexian Hydra token, very cool. Preening Champion foil. Deeproot Wayfinder, 1 and a green for a 2/3. Whenever Deeproot Wayfinder deals combat damage to a player or battle, surveil 1. You may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Rada, Coalition Warlord, 2, a red and a green for a 3/3. When Rada becomes tapped, another target creature you control gets +X/+X till end of turn, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Invasion of Belanon. This one you get to make a 2/2 white and blue knight creature token, and then you get an enchantment where all your creatures get +1/+1. Alright, Aetherblade Agent, Ramosian Greatsword, Joyful Storm Sculptor, 3, a blue and a red. That was the one I called Captain Marvel earlier. 2/3, when Joyful Storm Sculptor enters a battlefield, create 2 1/1 blue and red elemental creature tokens. When you cast a spell, it has Convoke. Joyful Storm Sculptor deals 1 damage to each opponent and each battle they protect. Shivan Branchburner, 5 and 2 red for a 4/4 with Convoke and flying and haste. So, pretty tough. Hanger Scrounger, 2 and a white for a 2/1 with backup 1. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Sunder the Gateway. There's a really pretty Windscarred Krigg. Sunder the Gateway is 1 and a white. Choose 1. Destroy target non-token artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Incubate 2. Or incubate 2, then transform an incubator token you control. And Converter Beast, this is an interesting card. 3 and a green for a 0/1, and when it enters a battlefield, incubate 5. So basically, you just get that 5/5 creature that costs you 2 extra mana. All right. There's a pretty art card. Incubator. Foil Botanical Brawler. Bloodfeather Phoenix. I have a couple of these. 1 and a red for a 2/2 with flying. It can't block. Whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control deals damage to an opponent or battle, you may pay a 1 red. If you do return Bloodfeather Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield, it gains haste until the end of turn. It's pretty nifty. Renata, Called to the Hunt, 2 and 2 green for an X3. Its power is equal to your devotion to green. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. There's Urgamon, create the treasure token and make the big pig. They call him Mr. Pig. Mizumi Freewheeler we've seen. Stoke the Flames, 2 and 2 red. Convoke. Stoke the Flames deals 4 damage to any target. Astral Wingspan. This 4 colorless and a blue. If I can make it focus, convoke, enchant creature. When Astral Wingspan enters the battlefield, draw a card, and a creature gets +2/+2 and flying. Consuming Aetherborn, we've seen. Eyes of Gitaxis, 2 and a blue, incubate 3 and draw a card. Assimilate Essence, counter target creature or battle spell unless its controller pays 4. If they do, you incubate 2. Blighted Burgeoning, 2 and a green for enchant land. Enters battlefield, incubate 2. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of any color. And our Dismal Backwater. All right, we are counting down. I think we're on our 6th pack from the bottom. That is pretty cool looking. Another Knight. Turkish Duneshaper. There's a mythic Jin Gitaxis. 3 and 2 blue for a 5/5 with Ward 2. Nice Praetor. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, draw a card. You can spend 3 and a blue and exile him, then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. Activate only as a sorcery and only if you have 7 or more cards in hand. And then you get the Great Synthesis. And this is a saga. So the first thing you do is draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size for as long as you control the Great Synthesis. Second, return all non-Phyrexian creatures to their owner's hands. And then finally, you may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. Exile the Great Synthesis, then return it to the battlefield. Of course, it would come back in as Jin Gitaxis. So that's a very, very cool mythic. That goes in our mythic pile here. Jury, Master of the Review, is 1 black and 1 red, 1/1. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on him. When Jury dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Nice. Another mythic, Yarok the Desecrated. 2 black, red, and a blue. I'm sorry, black, green, and a blue. 3/5 Death Touch Lifelink. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Now, these are the Multiverse Legends. So they, I think they're non-playable in current standard, but they're playable um, in Commander and then whatever they fit into. So it's a cool mythic, though. Invasion of Pyrulia. This one is scry 3, reveal the top card. If it's land or double face, draw a card. And then you get Gargantuan Slabhorn for 4/4, Trample Ward 2. Other transform permanents you control have Trample and Ward 2. Nice. Invasion of Kaladesh, we've seen already. Seen this already. Lethamantic Barrage, 1 red. This spell can't be countered. Deals 1 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and deals 5 damage instead if that target is white or blue. Collective Nightmare, 2 and a black with Convoke. Target creature gets -3/-3 till end of turn. Beamtown Beatstick, 1 red. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has Menace. When equipped creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, create a treasure token and equip it for 2. There's Iridescent Blade Master, 1 and a green, 2/2. Spend 4 to give it +2/+2 to the end of turn. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 packs left. There's Elish Norn, the mom of the mom. A treasure token. Flitting Gorilla, not Gorilla, Gorilla. 2 and a black for a 2/2 with flying. When it dies, each player mills 2. Then you may exile Flitting Gorilla. When you do, put target creature or battle card from your graveyard on top of your library. Errant and Giada, 1 white and a blue for a 2/3 flash flyer. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast spells. We saw this just in a showcase, I believe. Cezanne, Perverter of Truth, 3 and 2 black for a 6/5. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player loses 2 life and draws 2 cards. And Essence of Orthodoxy, 3 and 2 white for a 3/3 flyer. When it or another Phyrexian enters the battlefield under your control, you get to incubate 2. Kamigawa, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls, put a stun counter. We've seen that one. Order of the Mirror, we've seen. Seal from Existence, 1 and 2 white, ward 3. When Seal from Existence enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until Seal from Existence leaves the battlefield. It's interesting to see an enchantment with ward. We haven't seen that really before. Merciless Repurposing, 4 and 2 black, exile target creature and incubate 3. Etched Familiar, 2 and a black, 3/2. When Etched Familiar dies, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And Dredge Recycler, 1 and a black, 2/2. Tap to sacrifice an artifact or creature. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Sorry, a little out of focus. Oculus Whelp. It's amazing that we just keep seeing cards we haven't seen yet. 3 and a blue, 3/2 flyer. As long as you control a transform permanent, Oculus Whelp has, when Oculus Whelp dies, draw a card. Only 4 pack left, and then we're done. Till later when I get my collector boxes. Ooh, pretty. Okay. Converter Beast foil. Omnath again. Grimgrin, Corpseborn, 3, a blue and a black for a 5/5. Grimgrin, Corpseborn enters the battlefield tapped and doesn't untap during your untap step. Sacrifice another creature, untap Grimgrin, and put a +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever Grimgrin attacks, destroy target creature defending player controls, then put a +1/+1 counter on Grimgrin. He's just a counter eater. Crag Smasher or Crag Smasher Yeti, 4/2 red, 4/2 with Mountain Cycle, backup 2, and trample. Invasion of Amonkhet. This one lets you mill 3 cards, then each opponent discards a card, and you draw. Each player mills 3 cards, each opponent discards a card, and you draw a card. And then you get a Lazotep Convert, a 4/4. You may have Lazotep Convert enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature, except it's a 4/4 black zombie in addition to its other types. Nice. Pyretic Prankster. There's the Marshal of Zalfir. This is a nice knight card. 2/2 for 2, one blue, 1 white. Other knights you control get +1/+1, and then for 1 blue and a 1 white, tap it to tap another target creature. So he's a nice little card. Zalfrin Lancer. Whenever another knight enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +1/+1 and gain vigilance till end of turn. Elspeth Smite, 1 white. Elspeth Smite deals 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. If that creature would die, exile instead. Thrashing Frontliner. That's the Rugged Highlands, put that away. Trample 2/2. Whenever Thrashing Frontliner attacks a battle, it gets +1/+1 to the end of turn. And Alabaster Host Sanctifier, 1 and a white, lifelink 2/2. Wow. I mean, I'm glad that we're not getting packs that have a whole bunch of duplicates in them, but there's Atraxa, but it's very interesting. There's another list card, Nova Cleric, 1 white, 1/2. 2 and a white, tap, sack Nova Cleric to destroy all enchantments. There's Rada and a foil. Hidetsugu and Kairi, 2 blue and a black for a 5/4 flying. When Hidetsugu and Kairi enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. When Hidetsugu and Kairi dies, exile the top card of your library. Target opponent loses life equal to its main mana value. If it's an instant or sorcery card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. Wow. Zeta, Hedron Grinder, 3 and a red for a 3/3. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Zeta, Hedron Grinder, copy that spell for each other creature you control that the spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. There is Invasion of Kylum. We've seen this. Sunblessed Guardian, 1 and a white for a 2/2 with Transform for 5 and a red or 5 and 2 life, and it becomes Furnace Blessed Conqueror, a 3/3. Whenever Furnace Blessed Conqueror attacks, create a tap and attacking token that's a copy of it. Put a +1/+1 counter on that token for each +1/+1 counter on Furnace Blessed Conqueror. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step. That's pretty cool. Surge of Salvation, 1 white, you and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Prevent all damage that black and or red sources would deal to creatures you control this turn. Zarek Strobe Knight is a cool flying knight. 2 and a blue for a 2/2 with flying and vigilance, and you can tap it to create a 2/2 white and blue knight creature token with vigilance, but you can only play that ability if you have cast 2 or more spells this turn. Wary Thespian. 1 and a green, 3/1. When Wary Thespian enters the battlefield or dies, surveil 1. Halo Hopper. 3 casting cost, 3/2 with Convoke. Good old frog from Mirrodin. Halo Charge Scab. 4/4 for 5. When Halo Charge Scab enters the battlefield, each player mills 2 cards. Then you may put an instant sorcery or battle card from your graveyard on top of your library. And Attentive Sky Warden, 2 and a white for a 2/2 flyer. When it deals combat damage to a player or battle, transform up to 1 target incubator token you control. Last 2 Oh, this is weird. This one feels thick. Hey, look at that. That's cool looking. Another foily signature. There is a zombie, and there is a beautiful foil etched Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger. Very nice. Mythic Praetor, 7/6 for 8. Trample. Whenever you tap a land for any mana, add 1 mana of any type that land produced. And whenever an opponent taps a land for mana, that land doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. That is a beautiful, beautiful card. Let's see if I've got a sleeve here. I'll be very careful with it, and I'll put it in a sleeve. Invasion of Kaldheim. This is a rare battle. When Invasion of Kaldheim enters the battlefield, exile all cards from your hand, then draw that many cards until the end of your next turn. You may play cards exiled this way. And then you flip it over, and it becomes Pyre of the World Tree. Discard a land card. Pyre of the World Tree deals 2 damage to any target. Whenever you discard a land card, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. That is very cool. Yargle, he's just a 9/3 for 5. Can't beat that. Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, 2 and a red for a 3/2 at the beginning of your combat on your turn. For each aura and equipment attached to him, create 3/1 red elemental tokens, exile them at the beginning of the next end step. Invasion of Maragonda, Seraph of New Capenna, Ravenous Sailback, 4 and a green for a 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1, gains haste, or destroy target artifact or enchantment. Tandem Takedown, 1 and 2 green. Up to 2 target creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. They each deal damage to their power to another target creature, planeswalker, or battle. Vanquish the Weak, destroy target creature with power 3 or less. Ichor Drinker is a 1/1 with lifelink for 1, and you can exile him from your graveyard to incubate 2. Karsus Depth Guard, 4/3 with Defender for 3. As long as it has power 5 or greater, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. And the last pack, oh my gosh, this took forever. So many cards. So many cards. And they have to flip them over and read both sides. It's like, come on. Corrupted Conviction. Sacked Discard. Zimone and Dina. 1 green, 1 blue, 1 black. 3/4. Whenever you draw a second card each turn, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And then tap, sacrifice another creature, draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield tapped. If you control 8 or more lands, repeat this process. That is a nice mythic. Lathiel, the Bounteous Dawn, 2, a green and a white for a 2/2 with lifelink at the beginning of each end step. If you gain life, distribute up to that many +1/+1 counters among them, any number of other target creatures. Invasion of Vryn, I saw this one before. Kenra Spell Spear, Tarkir Duneshaper, Halo Forager, 1 and a blue and a black, 2 for a 3/1 flyer. Enters a battlefield, you may pay X. When you do, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with mana value X from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell will be put in a graveyard, exile it instead. Sandstalker Moloch, 1, 2 green, 4/2 flash. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent casts a blue or black spell this turn, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent from among them and put in your hand. The rest in the bottom of your library in any order. Realmbreaker's Grasp, 1 and a blue or 1 and a white. Enchant a creature, it can't attack or block, and then can't use activated abilities. Timberland Ancient is a 6/5 for 6 with reach and trample, and forest cycling 2. Knight of New Coalition we saw before, and Jungle Hollow. That's the first one of those we saw. So wow, that was a big box of stuff. We got some cool mythics. We got that Vorinclex. We got Zimone and Dina, very nice. We got the Grimgrin Corpseborn showcase, Yarok the Desecrated showcase, Jin Gitaxias, Praetor. We got Invasion of Innistrad. We got Sword of Once and Future, Niv Mizzet, and of course the Atraxa Showcase, which is just so pretty. But yeah, overall, that was a great box. Also got two of the companion cards in the extended art, and quite a stack of list cards from the box. Nova Cleric, Caldra Complete, Alyssa's Courier, Hope of Girapur, Thopter Foundry, The Antiquities War, and Phyrexian Furnace. And we actually got two rares and a mythic of those cards. So this was great. Let me know, please like, share, and subscribe if you've hung on with me this long. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think about the box. If you've opened some, let me know what your favorite cards are from this set. And like, share, and subscribe. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk with you later.